Surely you often hear in the news that people are going to fly to Mars. But when? Even 50 years ago, it seemed that a trip to the Red Planet would take place in the coming years. But until now, the date of the first flight to Mars has not been specifically determined. It is now known that the active development of a flight plan to Mars is being developed in the United States, Russia, and the European Space Agency. The favorite in this fight, oddly enough, is the United States, and to be more specific, the company SpaceX led by Elon Musk. It all started with the Falcon 1, the first SpaceX ship, then carriers like the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy went, the latter even sent a Tesla electric car into space, controlled by a dummy. But colonizing Mars is a little more complicated than getting equipment and people into low Earth orbit. Mars is a huge scorched desert, just a piece of cold rock with almost no air. And it is located 225 light-years away from us. It is difficult to imagine how much effort, time and money is needed for such an ambitious project. Difficult for everyone except Elon Musk. He is no longer just dreaming, but making plans for the colonization of Mars for the next 100 years. Let's try to figure it out. When it comes to the colonization of Mars, it is difficult to imagine even approximate dates of the beginning of such an event. But Elon Musk is so obsessed with this that he gives very optimistic forecasts for the near future.
Mission to build, resupply, and to do research for the International Space Station. Houston now controlled.
Naturally, such a huge company needs its own spaceport. The choice of location for construction fell on Texas. SpaceX will not have much trouble transporting parts of the rockets there from Los Angeles by water through the Panama Canal, which will be much cheaper than transporting them to another place by means of cars or planes. In addition, there are almost no people near the selected location, so SpaceX is free to work there with rocket fuel and other explosive substances. And of course, money. The construction of the spaceport is largely sponsored by the Texas authorities, because such a large-scale project will provide their residents with a huge number of jobs. The main advantage of Texas for the location of the spaceport is its close location to the equator, which will significantly save fuel. Since the rotating planet will give the vehicles an additional speed during launch. Since 2019, SpaceX has been testing its Starship spacecraft. Many of the tests ended in success, allowing SpaceX to achieve even greater results than Elon Musk expected. It is planned that, if successfully developed, Starship will replace all existing SpaceX rockets and space transport systems. On May 13, 2021, SpaceX submitted an application to the U.S. Federal Communications Commission for the first orbital flight of a prototype Starship spacecraft. The first unmanned flight to Mars can be carried out in 3 years. One of the users of the social network asked Elon whether flights to Mars will be possible by 2026. "I do not rule out a flight without a crew in 2024, the head of Musk wrote in response. Earlier, the head of SpaceX allowed human casualties during the first expedition to Mars. According to him, some of the astronauts who will go on a space trip may die before reaching the planet.
You know, it's dangerous, it's uncomfortable, it's a long journey. You might not, come back alive.
The first ships will carry provisions and equipment to the Red Planet for their subsequent operation by human expeditions. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for, the launch of the first human mission to Mars. And it may happen as early as 2026, if you believe the forecasts of Elon Musk. If, of course, the first cargo flights give a positive result. Flights to Mars with a crew will last about a year. Starship in the first expedition, most likely, will become a home for astronauts. The apartments, of course, are not the best, but this will significantly reduce the time and resources spent on the construction of Martian stations.